flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have no requests for public comment, so we'll move on to our first order of new business, which is the baseball field.
Still set for Curtis, get it? Thank you. Good evening. Hope you all are doing all right tonight. Always fun to come talk about the possibility of building and renovating new and existing facilities. Tonight we want to talk about the baseball field. Our goal in doing this would be to build a first-class facility, renovate it to where people want to come play. And tonight, I'll give you a little bit of my background since you don't know me very well. I've had the opportunity to build 4 turf fields. I think there were pictures in the board report of those 4 fields. So I have a decent understanding of how they need to work. And I have also had the opportunity to work with Mid-America on 4 different projects. And I will tell you during those 4 projects, there were some hiccups. And the thing I truly appreciated about Mid-America was if there was a hiccup, they were there to solve the problem to make me happy. And I think each time it happened, I got to know the owner well of the company. I can call Kirk right now and he'll pick up, and hope I don't go crazy on him, but they did make them right. So please understand, in looking at projects, we're going to have some issues, but I think what impressed me the most about Mid-America was their ability to come in and fix the problem and make a great facility for us. I think this project is a little unique for Ozark since they have not done a buying co-op. So I have Natalie from Sourcewell. She's going to come up and explain how a co-op works so that you all have a better understanding. At this time, please ask for questions, okay? I want to make sure you all understand what we're doing. My #1 goal is to get the best product and save the most money we can. And I feel this is the best way to do it. So I will bring Natalie up and let her talk.
Like you said, I hope you guys ask questions.
Thank you.
My sole job is just to make you guys, help you understand cooperative purchasing and what it is. I have pens here. All right. Well, first, I just want to thank you for having me. Second, I want to thank you for doing the job that you do. I know how difficult it is to be a school board member and how thankless it can be at times. So I truly appreciate you guys and the role that you play in the community and the school district. So my presentation is called Cooperative Purchasing 101. It's a very brief overview of cooperative purchasing. The documents inside the folder go a little bit deeper, but if you have questions, please ask them throughout. Oh, I have the clicker. That's right. Okay, so my name is Natalie Morgan. I am a senior account executive with Sourcewell. I've been at Sourcewell for 2.5 years. Before Sourcewell, I was an elementary principal for 7.5 years, and I was a teacher for 8 years before that. So I have background in education. Sourcewell started a K-12 vertical about 9 months ago. And of course, I jumped on board to be able to work with school districts across the country. So who is Sourcewell? Have you guys heard of Sourcewell before? Okay, so the first thing is we are a government organization. I'm a government employee. We are not for profit. I don't get paid on commission for anything that public agencies use off of our contracts. We are a national cooperative. We support state governments, local governments, K-12 districts, and higher education. So we procure, we do the procurement process for public entities so that they can save time and money by just utilizing our contracts that we have already gone through the solicitation process for. We satisfy that RFP bid process for public agencies only. So basically, instead of a district doing the RFP, we've already done that. We've already vetted the vendors, and a district can just come to our website, find what contract they need, and purchase directly. So cooperative purchasing benefits, there's a ton, and you can see here some of them, but really the most important one that we talked, when I travel the country talking to school districts. It's that we create efficiencies so districts can save time and money. You don't necessarily have an expert in your business office that knows about turf. You don't have an expert that knows about X, Y, and Z, whatever you're doing. Where at Sourcewell, we do. So we can have our experts vet all of the contracts, and then you can use those knowing that it went through a vetted process. And the other one that I like to point out is that you can still use your local suppliers. So if you have a John Deere supplier in town, you can go to your local John Deere dealer. We have 3 contracts with John Deere. Purchase from your local dealer, still keep the money local, even though it was vetted through a national cooperative. You can go to your local Napa Auto Group, your local AutoZone. Those are all vetted contracts that we have at Sourcewell. So I just really like to point that out because, again, it's stimulating that local economy. It's stimulating, the relationships that you have in this community. So I don't know if you guys know about procurement, but these are all of the steps when you're thinking about procuring something in your district. It's a long list. What cooperatives do is they cut that in half. So as a district, you're still going to have to identify what you need. You're still going to have to discuss with your procurement office. But instead of going through the scope, the advertise, the opening, the valuation, the award, and the protest period, you just use a co-op because we've already done that. So you're not skipping steps as a school district. We've just done the steps for you as a local unit of government. And then you still issue the PO and receive the goods. But that's cutting it in half. And I have another slide later, but this typical process is like 5 to 6 months with a school district. We can do it in 2 to 3 months by using a cooperative. So again, when you're making a purchase as a school district, you have to decide what you need. You have to choose the suppliers and request quotes still using the awarded suppliers. You can work directly with your local supplier or a representative, and then you make the purchase. And there's a new study. So NCPP, National Cooperative Public Procurement. For the last 3 years, everybody's been saying, how much money does using a cooperative save? How much time does using a cooperative save? So they finally did a project, and they got a bunch of public agencies across the country. And here's what they found. If it's a complex project, turf, building a facility, you can save on average $17,000 by using a cooperative contract. They even said this is on the low end. They think it's probably anywhere between 25,000, but that was using the agencies that they had. And then on a non-complex project, that's like paper supplies, pencils, your staples, those type of projects, you can save $1,700, which if you think about it, it's pretty significant. That can add an EA to your staff. That can better support kids in the classroom. And this is the time savings. So if you look on the left, that's if a district does the RFP by themselves. Again, that need is still there. The RFP that you have to post and have out for a certain amount of time. Then you have to have somebody evaluate it. And then you have to have delivery. The middle one is our Sourcewell average. So you can see instead of 7 months, it's about 3.5. And this furniture example is one that we internally did. A district wanted KI furniture for their building. And so they got the quote, and within 15 days, the furniture was delivered to the building because it was already in stock. So there are some of those examples that we do have. That was a specific one that was really beneficial to the district, but on average, it's about 3.5 months. More specifically to Missouri. The state of Missouri last year had approximately $46 million in sales from just school districts. There was over 100 school districts that utilized Sourcewell contracts, and there were the top suppliers for those the contracts that were utilized. Sourcewell specifically has 860 vendors on contract. Other cooperatives have more and different ones. Some of them are the same, but those were the top ones used in Missouri specifically. And this is just that same information, just kind of in a different look. So 107 agencies utilized the cooperatives, 45.6 million, and that was 15% higher than the year previously. You can see in 2021, there was a huge spike in the use of cooperatives. I'm sure you can understand why. But the national trend is that it's still going up. So Ozark Public Schools specifically, I'm lucky at Sourcewell that we have a government relations and legal team that went through the state procurement process and your local school board policy and was able to, I can't legally say, yes, you can, or no, you can't, because that's not my role as a Sourcewell employee. What I can say is that the state has adopted 6 of our contracts. The state procurement statutes allow cooperative contracts to be used in the state of Missouri. Your local school board has a policy that says, as long as the superintendent, the board has given the superintendent the ability to use cooperative purchasing. And then on top of it, you guys are lucky enough that our Easy ICQ, our construction contracts, are legal in the state of Missouri, which again, still uses your local, the people, what are those, project managers? Still uses your local project managers within the county that you live in. But again, that's just another benefit that you have here in Missouri, that you're able to use our construction contracts. But again, state adopted, statute says cooperatives are good. Your local authority, your school board policy already says that superintendent has the right to be able to use cooperative purchasing. And that's really all I have. So if you have questions, please ask. Oh, great. Thank you.
So where does this, the Mid-America, is that the bid, is that through Sourcewell?
So remember how I said local dealers? It was bid at the manufacturing level, which is AstroTurf. So we have a contract with AstroTurf, but any retailer of AstroTurf is allowed to still fall under that Sourcewell umbrella. So Mid-America is part of AstroTurf.
Okay. So then did you get other, as part of this, were there other bids that went out? How does that work?
Absolutely. So it's similar to how a school district puts out the RFP and vendors put bids in, same thing. Sourcewell has a whole procurement department. We put out an RFP for, let's say, turf. All the vendors nationwide put in a bid. We have a procurement department that evaluates that bid on a 1,000 point scale, 400 being pricing. And then unlike a school district, we can multiple award. So we have 3 to 4 turf vendors on contract with us. So again, a school district goes, finds AstroTurf because that's what your district wants, knowing that it already went through that RFP process. We already had multiple bids. We already evaluated the bids, so you don't have to.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And if I could pull up our website and you could see basically for turf, you can see all of the vendors that put in a bid in and all of their scores.
So you're kind of, you're like a main project manager.
Sourcewell?
Yeah.
We save you time and money because we just do the process for you.
But what's their cost?
We are free. We are free to, the district does not need to spend a dime. There's no membership. We get paid by the vendor. So basically, if
We
you,
don't use you all the time.
that's a question I'd ask districts all the time.
Not,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just,
Honestly, some of it depends on, like, it's state by state, right? Missouri's a pretty we call it a friendly state for cooperative purchasing. I mean, your top districts in the state, I think one of them was $5 million in sales last year that they used on our contracts. So Missouri's a very friendly state.
You said you're a government employee, so like state or federal or?
I'm a state, Sourcewell is a local unit of government from Minnesota. Yes.
So we've talked about this many times with other projects. It would be nice to have one person who went and sorted through all the bids, who knew about that stuff already, let alone what a cooperative can do. But I mean, just having suppliers on hand, vendors on hand that you can sort through. That's like a no-brainer, sorry, to me.
I will say districts, we don't want everything that you purchase to go through a cooperative. That's not the purpose. And I would say about 20 to 25% is what is nationwide. You should go through a cooperative.
Huh.
The other things you do want to bid yourself, you do want to have some control over that, but 20% is typical for when they say you should use a cooperative.
Like Amber said, the big things.
I work at the county, yes.
you use Sourcewell.
Yeah.
School buses, paper, copiers, phones.
So you said Minnesota is Sourcewell Minnesota organization, or is it federal, or?
So we
What?
were started as a Minnesota, in 1978, we started, the governor appointed, we were a local service agency. And we were basically, do you have like a CISA here or where your teachers go and get professional development? That's what Sourcewell started at. And they, like 3 districts would come and be like, we need a school bus. And so this organization was like, oh, we'll leverage 3 districts to get a better deal. The executive director at the time was like, if we can do this in Minnesota, why can't we do this nationally? So Sourcewell now has 50,000 agencies. So when we put an RFP out, those vendors look and they're like, you have 50,000 agencies. We're going to give you the best price that you can possibly get.
Mhm.
And part of our process, it has to be higher than you would give another public entity.
Hmm.
So like Staples, if you just go as an educator, you go to Staples, it's 18% you're going to save. If you use our contract, it's 22 to 25%. You get a higher discount because we have so many agencies.
Thanks for explaining all that. You're talking about the contracts.
Can you talk about, I'm not sure if it would be you or if you'd be talking about that, how you came up with the AstroTurf versus the other, I think we talked about this, but if you can kind of explain that to everybody, how that worked.
And I
Yes, thank
will
you.
answer questions if you have.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We had a 6-person committee and we toured 16 different facilities. And I think after we looked at geosurfaces, Byron Jones, AstroTurf, Field Turf, Shaw. And after looking at them and looking at the research, there's some research on baseball fields. A lot of them, ATQs of them. A lot of them will use a higher blade turf, 2 inches. AstroTurf uses 1.5 inches, which it gives a truer hop that is more realistic like a baseball field. So like OU, University of Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, Mizzou, different places like that use the turf. When I was at Neosho, I did the same thing. I went and toured fields and AstroTurf, it came down between AstroTurf and Field Turf. I think the one thing that helped sell me on AstroTurf is that guy sitting right there. We put the football field down on a Monday before a Tuesday quarterfinal soccer. The seam around the arc on the soccer box, goalie box, was coming up. I called him Tuesday morning, it was down and it was fixed. So customer service was unbelievable. I'll step back. When I did the first football field the first time 5 years ago, I knew nothing about co-ops. So I used a co-op, but I hard bid the co-op. So I made the 3 companies come in and bid against each other. AstroTurf was $100,000 cheaper than Shaw and $300,000 cheaper than Pellets. Those were the 3 companies in that co-op. So we built the football field. When the baseball field started, I used the co-op. I went straight to Mid-America. They did that. We went and built an indoor facility. I used the co-op to do that. Then we went and built the softball facility. I went and used the co-op to do that. So 4 different projects. The first one I kind of used the co-op that I needed to know for questions like that. And then the other 3, I used the co-op. So Coach is here. He can come up and talk to you about field selection and different things like that. He was part of the process, had a heavy voice in the process. You had to make a lot of calls, didn't you? Yeah, well, that's great. Feel free to ask him questions. I do have Mid-America here that can show you some drawings and walk you through the process with them if you'd like to hear that.
Okay.
So if you have any more questions for Justin or myself at this time.
Yeah, Coach, what do you think about this?
I'm grateful, number one, just to be involved in it, it felt like it was, maybe just a lot of fun, but at the same time, it just makes the coaches just feel supported, excited. You know, we want something down there that's desirable, bottom line. So when people come up that field or that hill, they look down and they see that field, it's something that reflects the tradition that Ozark baseball has, which is, you know, and then all of a sudden, hey, now we're hosting district tournaments. Now we gotta have state teams come to our place instead of us going to their place. It just puts us on the map, and, that's when it's what we need, and, so yeah, it's been an awesome process, it's been a lot of fun, I've learned a lot, for sure.
I wanted to ask Lori a question. Uh, I I have a question for you. I know we talked about this at one of our work sessions about, in October, I believe it was, about using the remaining bond money that had been set aside, and we like hashed out all the details of what different things. Do you remember what we had estimated for the baseball field?
I have 1.8 million budgeted for it.
Okay, okay.
So we got,
So this is 1.2.
and then at the bottom of there, it talks
Oh,
about the ditch. It talks about a backstop,
Okay.
a wall. There was a prioritized list down at the bottom that we will permit. So we can get the best of. The
I
thing
think
is-
we can get those in for the remaining, that's my question, for the remaining 0.6. We can get those things.
We'll go straight down the list. Obviously, the outfield fence is gonna be number one. The backstop's gonna be number two. So if you get there, I think if we don't have to use soil stabilization, the 243,000, you're gonna come in at about 1.4 there, is what I'm guessing. You still have 400,000.
Okay.
You would still have 400,000 to do the remaining projects.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at that one. I was
You're
looking at
fine.
the,
You're
thank
fine.
you.
I wanna answer everything you need answered.
I'd like to hear from the guy on the board, she's obviously come here
Hmm.
prepared.
Yeah.
Christian and Brock are here from Mid-America.
I'd like to hear what they have to say, feels like that probably pretty important too, so, appreciate it. Come on, Brian.
Oh.
First of all, I don't know why I'm even up here, everybody else does my job for me. Thank you all very much. You have no idea how amazing this is for me. I grew up a little unathletic kid in Shelton, Missouri, and now all over the country, selling some of the nicest fields on the planet. A little bit about us. We're Mid-America Sports Construction. We started 35 years ago out of Lee's Summit, Missouri, as a golf course built golf courses all over the country. Then when the Tiger Woods effect kind of plateaued, we transitioned into doing high-end natural grass fields, Royals, Chiefs, KU, State. Then when the new style of synthetic turf that we see today, that you guys have on football, it started coming in. So we started building the base for it. Everybody, the grading system on every turf company's field. We were doing everything. Then about 12, 13 years ago, we teamed up with AstroTurf. They were the easiest to work with, they had the best product, and their vision for baseball was out of this world. The first major install of this new kind of turf, I won't bore you for too long, everything I'm talking about and more we have here on file, so if you're having trouble sleeping tonight, you can kind of read through the rest of it. The first major install was 1999 of football turf at University of Nebraska. The first baseball turf infill was only 15 years ago. So think about how many synthetic turf fields have gone down in the last 25 years, and how many baseball fields have gone down in the last 15 years. The first major baseball install, everybody was trying to do baseball at that time, but they were doing football turf with baseball colors. It played awful. It just was not a good setup. Legendary coach of Wichita State, Gene Stevens, he got a hold of AstroTurf and said, let's go down to Kissimmee, Florida, to the Braves minor league training facility. We shot machine ball, we shot ground ball, thousands of ground balls, measured, bounced, everything. Came up with a product. We were the first one to nail the playability of synthetic turf for baseball. Right now, there's about 104 Division I baseball fields that are synthetic turf. AstroTurf has about 83 of them. Our market share is ridiculous, and it's because of the playability. And please stop me if you have questions. If you have something come up about that, oh yeah, we're kind of a team here. So if anything pops up. So Mid-America, back to Mid-America. We still do golf courses. We have 5 golf course crews. We got 14 turf construction crews. We got 4 or 5 turf installation crews, all out of Lee Summit. I basically cover from Harrison, Arkansas to Watford City, North Dakota. I'm in Lee Summit, again from Southwest Missouri, it's home for me. So just on baseball fields, it's ridiculous. Out of Lee Summit, Missouri, 30 fields in Kansas City, 10 in Omaha, 14 there, 4 in Warrensburg, this is baseball and softball, 8 in the Jeff City area, Mona, Cassville, Harrison, Northwest Arkansas, so you get the idea, we do some baseball. And this is just, we've done baseball fields, I kid you not, in Guantanamo Bay to Salt Lake City, so we've done, but this is home for us. If there's ever an issue, every project has a bogey on the scorecard. I kid you not, I was sending Kenny Chesney in Las Vegas last night, 8:30, answering a text on an issue. My wife said, "You gotta be kidding me." So anytime you need me, I will be there for you. A little bit about us. The 16 of 19 rule. Anytime there's a baseball game going on, the most you can have on a baseball field is 19 players, or 19 people. Out of the 19, 16 of them are in the infield. So that is where the game originates from, that's the most important, and that's the most important with us. So, over the 15 years, we've tried and succeeded and failed on a couple things, but we've dialed in ball fields, the playability as close as you can get to natural. We're actually teaming up with MLB, should have it in the next month, be the official turf of Major League Baseball. So the turf you get here is the same turf that Vanderbilt has, University of Kentucky, Mizzou, and now Major League Baseball. The thing about our turf, there's the first turf, and the one you have on the football field here for years, was an old Sutton field. That was turf 1.0. That was a great turf. It lasted forever, but it never looked real. From the day it went down, the day it got pulled up, it looked plastic, it looked fake. Then about 13 years ago, they came out with what's called a truly extruded monofilament field. That is made from a liquid into a fiber, just like fishing line or pasta. It looked real, it was amazing. It didn't hold up as well as the slip film. So in today's world, you marry them together, it holds up well. The slip film, they lay over, they encapsulate everything you need to keep the ball rolling smooth, and the monofilaments to stay up to make the field look real. You keep your infield in place, you have a better playing field, a safer field, less bad hops. It's pretty simple. We put more fiber in than other people, up to 5 or 6 tons of fiber. We move more fake grass blades per field than our competition. So if you're gonna have anything wear out on your ball field, it's gonna be fiber, it's not gonna be sand and rubber. So start with more fibers, the better off you'll be. And then where it's most crucial that I touched on earlier is your infield. Your infield will have a thatch zone, and that just locks in your sand and rubber that you see when you're watching an NFL game, college game. You see the rooster tail, the black tire pieces. That's what locks it in, along with the slip film from the golf. That's pretty much the science of it. Now, the places that are the most abused on a baseball field are the most attention we give to the field. And that is your pitching, your catching, and your batter's boxes. They come in with a very, very, very plush turf, heavy duty turf, and they're Velcroed in. So if, for instance, it was the second inning of the first game of a doubleheader, and you had a batter step through the batter's box, you could literally pull it up, replace it, and be playing shortly after.
How long is shortly?
Huh?
How long is shortly?
30 minutes.
Oh,
In other words, after the game, you want to come back and you want to get it going also. Now, all of that with turf is nice and it's all pretty. If you have a problem with your turf field, any of us here can walk in and say, that's an issue. If you have a problem with your drainage system, we don't know where it is. I mean, honestly, it's, you're in trouble. So as nice as the turf is, the drainage system is even more important. We can make a decent parking lot, but we're field poor. I mean, we do field, we've done millions and millions and millions of square foot of fields all over the Midwest. Our people, our machinery. And here it is the one. Wonder proud. We are now officially bananas. Now, if you've got a chance to see it, they are amazing. Yeah, we just finished their field. If you ever have a chance to listen to the gentleman talk to the owners, his story is out of this world. So, again, there's just a bunch of fields, a bunch of real pretty fake grass. The reason this is all here is so everybody can sit down for fun and see what you like. Like here, Oklahoma Sooners. Don't play today. It looks like play. The crazy one back here, the coach color, University of Iowa, and I did. Big, beautiful. So we can dial in your field to make it custom the way you want it. We're not doing our field, we're doing your field. And then there's all the fields here, Drury, all of them down here. Please ask some questions.
There's a couple things we did touch on there. One of them being your base is everything that's important. The dirt that goes on top. A good base should last 50, 75 years. We've yet to see one of our bases fail. And so you can literally just like carpet your house, pull the whole carpet, put new carpet down. And then another thing with the hardest thing on turf, without a doubt, is UV degradation. So the sunlight beat that line. That's why the ounces of the base weight, you want a much more flush carpet, just like carpet in your house. The more dense it is, it stands up, it kind of shades one another. So that's why you go hybrids.
So the areas where we're sliding into second, sliding into third.
What's so crucial there is you're displacing that infill, in the rubber, and then you essentially don't have anything standing those fibers up. That's what we like that root zone product, is it kind of blocks in that sand and rubber, and you're not displacing as much.
If it becomes deteriorated, can you replace just that area?
Absolutely. So Missouri Western State University is 14 years old, and we've actually go back and replace first and second.
And here's where we even, to go on that a little bit more, for instance, say Drury, you're about year 8 or 9, we'll start to look around first base, we'll start to get thin, because we do not Velcro that in, because then that leaves a seam right there for a dangerous hop. So that is in. So what we'll do is we'll come in here to this area here in the bullpen that's faded the same amount. We'll put new turf in the bullpen, take that piece and put it here. So it doesn't look like a quilt out on your ball.
So I have a question about tell me again about what this dirt is. What, did you say rubber?
There is. The dirt is actually, there's no dirt. There's nothing natural on that field. The dirt area is either a red clay looking, like Southwest Missouri is known for, or brown turf. So there's no dirt anywhere. Not on the pitcher's mound, not anywhere.
Yeah, what was it, what's it made of?
That's a polyethylene fiber. And the thatch, yeah.
Black in the middle.
Oh, the black end that you would see that on on your football field, that's just ground up tires. SBR is what they call that.
The primary use of the rubber is for a safety side. So on your football field, it's much higher person. If you're worried about head impact issues, you're not worried about that on a baseball field. You're much more worried about how the ball plays. So your sand content is much higher, about much less rubber on the baseball field.
And that's where I was talking earlier. The other companies just put a football field out with baseball, and it was a bunch of rubber, a little bit of sand. Same thing they put for football or soccer.
Ball bounces right over the second base.
What kind of maintenance does this require?
Good question. You use the groomer, then you have like a football field to do the entire thing. And then what we suggest, steel, the chainsaws, Dustin Ansel still does. Yeah. You can use those, the power broom, and it's like a weed eater with nylon bristles, and you can spot shot around first base, all your low areas, instead of getting the whole tractor and everything out, just that. It's definitely not no maintenance, it's low maintenance, but not no maintenance, yeah.
And useful life as well.
What's that?
The useful life, how long do you expect to go?
I kid you not, the first ones we're seeing, which the technology's gotten so much better, and I sound like a used car. They're getting 8 to 10 years out of the infield, but or the infield, the outfield, they're getting 12 drive. I have a couple fields in Iowa, 12, 13 years, and the outfield's still working.
They don't have the ball very far out there.
No, it's still getting work.
So
Yeah.
8 to 10 years on the infield though, how much, what's the cost when they have to, right,
Really
what-
think that this one, it's warranted for 8. All right.
okay,
And
warranted for 8.
Most people, if you take pretty good care of it, you'll get like a Missouri Western, or even you, it's that 13.
Say you got 13 or 14 years and then what happens? You have to replace it? You have to repair it? What do you, just repair different sections?
cut out the brown, replace the brown, if the green is still in good shape. We got,
Or it's like replacing carpet in your house.
And what-
If you're a whole new field, you were to take the old carpet out of it.
and that's where the drainage system is so important, because if it's done right, then it's literally just replacing the carpet, which is about 50% of the cost.
That's what I was gonna ask next.
And about 60% of the cost.
About 50 to 60% to replace the grass. Right.
So every plan for every 10 years, that is 50% cost. Yeah,
So every
Be
13 or
conservative.
14 years is 50% cost maybe.
I'll go with 10.
That's
10.
like-
So,
And Richie can confirm this. I'll be down, there'll be a lot of times I'll stop by on the way through town, and I'll go out and walk the field and not tell anybody on there. And I'll send coach a message, hey, coach, can you hit the second base area? It doesn't look like it's been. And every single time I stop by, if I'm in my vehicle, I will have everything I need to make any minor repairs on the field and have done it on every school. If I don't have this stuff to do a minor repair, I'll give you $1,000. If I'm in my truck, that's it. That's the advice.
I'm writing that down.
so which part of the bid is just the grass part that has to be replaced every 10 to 15 years?
It's not broke out in that is.
Or should we just plan? for
So
that
50% of
that?
the total.
Just plan.
So if
50.
it's 13, it's 65.
Is it one? It's 1.1.
650.
Except 10 years ago, dogs a lot different. So it
Yeah,
sounds like
yeah.
But as we showed here, it was roughly $650,000 for Oklahoma to go from their first turf to their second turf. And also for University of Iowa to go from their first turf to second turf was about $650,000. So right about half.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you're thinking about if you're going to do something, you think
Yeah,
about
you
what's
gotta
the
plan.
maintenance cost.
Just to plan ahead.
That's not maintenance, that's replacement, that's different.
Yeah, maintenance.
So you compare replacement to maintenance if you used a different type.
Don't forget, there's added. In the year. Stuff that school district, especially during summer, that, overflow from Ozark campus, it's like that, additional bed.
Hmm.
That's a big.
Yeah, that's good. 8 years of warranty.
So-
I think that we need to have a baseball field where other teams can come play, districts can come play in Ozark because we have a field that's usable.
That.
Quick clarification, because I'm not like a baseball guy here, so. This is what they, instead of the clay or whatever that is, you run on this, is that basically?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep. It plays like dirt. Half the fibers are polyethylene, half of them are nylon. Nylon's a lot more stringent of a fiber, so it'll hold up to the pound softball field there, that's what that. So, yes,
But your pants don't get all the dirt on there.
correct. And
Okay,
this actually,
we'll put some red in there.
and you. Yes, even this, and it slides easier, a little easier than dirt when it's dry. If it's a little damp, it slides 10 to 12% faster than a dry, than dirt.
So give us a quick education as to why people are picking going with an AstroTurf or artificial field as opposed to keeping a traditional dirt.
Yeah, good question.
Playability, service after the set. For this, that's all I can speak of is our customers, and those are the two. They know the playability is out of this world. It's major league certified. It's NCAA, all the big boys. Because there's a reason baseball coaches are the pickiest suckers. College baseball coaches are the pickiest suckers.
Overnatural.
Yeah,
The main purpose is why.
yeah.
So take for instance, University of Central Missouri, the year before we put their field in, they had 43 rainouts. The next year they had one, it was just like.
Right, so the water comes down quick, but it gets away quick.
Essentially that base that we haven't talked about much is a road base, so it's clean limestone, it can take about 60 inches of rain.
Oh,
Yeah.
If you have more rain, if you have more rain than 16 inches, you have more worries about that.
And I don't know if you know the number, Richard, but for comparison purposes, I mean, I think we all think this is great, but just for our number of purposes, if we're to say, now let's just redo the grass and dirt, I mean, what's,
Yeah, what would that?
Irrigation.
Yeah,
fertilization,
yeah.
Mower, you specifically put a.
I mean, like
part of the
half a
field.
million or something?
Over.
Okay, so it's kind of a wash,
So it's not
just
much
to
different
fix
than
it,
prior.
yeah. Yeah, so,
Yeah, what we talked about, we built a community, we built an office, we did office, so we could go set up the, this board of last year, so we combined that.
and what's the timeline on this? If we said, yes, good to go?
3 months of good weather.
He's gonna start around August 1st and hope to be done April, March 1st. That's 2 or 3 weeks before the season.
Okay.
We could practice.
Did they,
That's not actually.
okay,
That's built in because of winter weather. So. For softball people.
Yeah.
We are putting a portable mound in, so we can lift the mound off if we would happen to have a conference game that we could not play. If we would buy a portable fence, we could play softball on this field. So we are making it to where we could use it for softball. The outfield could be used for practice junior high football, soccer. We did those things at Neosho, and so you can use this for many different things.
I like that kind of.
I do,
thinking.
we do.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Matt, second by James to move forward with AstroTurf.
Via the source well
Yes,
cooperative.
well, yes. Any further discussion? All right. Let's vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time and presentation.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for explaining all of that to us.
Okay, moving on. The next thing on our list are the 2025-2026 board meeting date.
I'm sorry, Madam President, can I just add one thing? Thank you. Dr. Fretwell, I want to say thank you so much for bringing information to us and explaining the reasoning. So we could hear, so the community could hear, so we could all understand what's involved in the decision, so we could compare and contrast and make a best decision. That was excellent. I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's very thorough. We appreciate it. All right, looking at the board meeting dates for 2025-2026, has everybody had a chance to review them? Is there anything that needs to be addressed? Huh?
September the first, I forgot to change that.
6:45?
And so we'll get that changed.
Oh,
Okay, so that's a day off,
What are you saying?
For, days.
September 1st.
Instead of green. Yeah.
Get that changed.
Is that informational or do we do motion?
I don't know. It's informational, okay. Right. Superintendent update. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
I've had that summer school was today, the last day of summer school. It is, and I think it went very well. And I would also like to add that just be aware coming down the pike, there are some funding, some potential funding issues that we may have in the future with Senate Bill 3. Also, we do not know what the governor's fully going to appropriate right now. So when we're talking about a budget, it is a pretty soft budget at this point, but I will say that Senate Bill 3 is very concerning to us, and it's something that we're going to have to be working through.
I agree. Okay, district reports, we do appreciate that you guys all submit those to us with lots of time to review. They are very informational,
Yes.
informative. Does anybody have any comments before we move on? Okay. Future dates, these are the same thing we just looked at, so still, but you don't need us to vote, right? All right. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. We have-
Second.
I have a motion by Dustin, second by James on the consent agenda. All in favor? Passes unanimously.
I would like to say thanks for pulling those things off that I had questions on.
On new business, we have, we are presented to approve the 2025-26 salary schedules. I'll entertain a motion that we approve those, and then Dr. Hedgeworth can come up and speak. We should do a motion first.
So moved. I move that we approve those salary schedules.
Okay, we have a motion by Christina, seconded by Dustin, and now we'll have some discussion.
Sure.
To approve the salary schedules.
Yeah, so the salary schedules, the approach this year is a little bit different than in years past. We just got done going through our strategic planning process. And the attack and retrain team group in that area with Dr. Link really looked at how we compared to other COC districts and what our comparison was. And we could really tell that, the group noticed that our areas in the masters, if you had master's plus 10, if you had an ed specialist degree, we were behind in the other COC districts that we compared to. And so as we looked at the schedule, we looked at how we could, try to make up a difference overall in all areas, but also in that area of the teachers that had their masters and above. And so we took the current teacher salary schedule and we added $1,000 to every cell that was masters or above. And then we added $1,400 to the base, which is cell A1, that beginning teacher, which is currently $42,000. So that amount now came to $43,400, and took that same percentage, which is 3.33%, and applied it to all the other cells. So it was kind of a two-step combination, adding that $1,000 to every cell, masters and above, then taking that 3.33% to the rest. Now that was just for the teacher salary schedule that we made that special adjustment. Any other schedule, like a classified staff or administrators, was just the 3.33%. Only that special education was for the teacher schedule with masters or above. And so that's how that was calculated. And that's how all the amounts came on this schedule. You'll notice in past schedules that they're very round numbers, like 350, 750, 300. Because that 3.33%, you'll notice that all the numbers now become an actual true number to that percentage. And you might have a number that ends in, 682 or something like that. So that's just to show that realization that we're using percents to increase everything and not just a flat number, like was done in the past.
So
any
how-
questions
how
on
did-
how
yeah.
we set that up?
How does this compare? I think we talked about this. How does this compare with us being competitive with other districts?
Sure. So Dr. Lincoln and I looked at how we compared to everybody else, and we were making guesses of what everybody else would do. We had about 1,200 to 1,400 in total that maybe other districts would do. we estimate that we'll pass at least one, if not two districts in our ranking in that masters and above. But it's also contingent on what they do with their salary schedules as well. And so people are pretty tight-lipped about what they're going to do for that. So,
Because you're competing for the same teachers.
correct. Yes. And so that competition brings out the best and worst of sometimes. And so many people are very collaborative and some just don't want to say anything. So we'll find out in due time what they end up doing. We think we'll pass one or two schools on that ranking list.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
we've talked about this a lot in different sessions, but the community members who are listening haven't. And so will you just remind us, like, where did we rank compared to the district
Sure.
schools around?
So out of 10 districts, and you have multiple schools within some districts like Springfield. So you can look at it as 14 or 10. I think we were 9 in Masters plus 10 for that ranking.
So we ranked 9th out of
Correct.
10
Out of 10.
for what we paid our
That's
teachers.
correct. I believe our beginning teacher was 6 or 7 out of that 10.
Yeah,
So,
I'm glad we're catching up. That's
Absolutely.
good that we're catching up. Thanks for figuring out how to do that.
well, I just applied the numbers. It was that strategic planning committee group that came up with that research
That was awesome.
and had those ideas to do this with. I was just the one that said, hey, this is how much it's going to cost. Can we afford it? All those different things. So really that should go to
Dr.
that
Link,
strategic planning
thanks.
group, for sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, I will
Thank you.
call for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Next, I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2024-2025 budget revision as presented.
Real quick on the third budget revision.
We're going to have a motion first.
I'm
Just
sorry.
1 second.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Okay, we have a motion by James, seconded by Dustin to approve this third budget revision. And
My
no,
apologies. Just-
no, go ahead.
This third budget revision is very minor compared to what we had in the second budget revision, meaning that there were just some slight tweaks. It really was just done to shore up some things with federal programs and Perkins and enhancement grant. So a lot of times they have expenses and they go into EPEGs, which is a DESI tool, and they're trying to compare those things. So it really was very small tweaks. So nothing major changed in really this third budget revision. It's really just there to wrap it up and finalize this year. I will say just quickly, the budget is a budget and not what I think actuals will be. Just to give you a quick preview, and actuality, I think we'll be in the black by about 100,000 if you're looking at just Fund 1 and 2. And so that's where I think we'll win the year there. So $100,000 on a budget that is about what, $73 million expenses and about $73 million in revenues. So $100,000 is a very small percentage. So bravo to Dr. Wilson, because she's the one that created this preliminary budget back a year ago.
Good job, Dr. Wilson. Okay. All right. Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor? All right, that passes unanimously. Next item is I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2025-2026 preliminary budget as presented. Dustin made a
Second.
motion and James has seconded. That's for the preliminary budget 2025-2026. Is there any discussion or questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Passes unanimously. The next item,
Madam President, may I say something really quickly? I know that there was no discussion right here, but I truly believe it's because that Dr. Hedgecorth has done a tremendous job in all of our meetings prior to this and all of our work sessions and emails explaining where we're at
yes.
and where we're going. So I just wanted to say, this is his last board meeting, and so big kudos to him.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
still a little bit in denial about that, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
The preliminary budget is kind of the Super Bowl for a CFO. I will mention one thing. This budget is in the format for the meritorious budget award. You've probably heard that term before. So there's a deadline of October 1st to apply for the award. And I've worked with Dan Ortega to look at that process to go through, because this is really everybody. This is communications department, business services, cabinet team, building that strategic plan. This is truly everybody. And so there's only 6 districts in the state that have ever won this award. Well, currently have won this award. So look forward to that application process in the fall with Dr. Gray, who has been fantastic to transition with.
Good.
And look forward to that in the fall. So
Well, we appreciate that. We appreciate you.
thank you so much.
All right. There is no motion for the next. It is just a first read over the MSBA policies. I do hope that you have had a chance to review them. If you have any recommendations or changes, do you want us to send those to you directly, Dr. Philip Link? Is that what you'd like, or does anybody want to discuss them now? Or what would you like for us
Is
to
this
do?
the
I
time
would
we
say-
discuss it and then they fix
I
it?
would say you would send those changes to me.
To you?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So do we discuss them all together? Like there are some things I would just like to talk about. Sometimes it helps me figure out when I hear other people talking about it.
It's just a first read. I mean, we can gather our thoughts together. But if you have something that needs to be discussed, go ahead.
I just have a couple questions on different ones of why this was that way or, okay, nothing on EBBC. The next one was GB1. Oh, and Lori answered that question for me about the substitute teachers. Have to be, no one under 20 can substitute in the high school. And I wanted to see if that included volunteers, but it was only for hiring. Okay, then the next one, GBE, I had a question on page 1. Oh, page 2, I guess is the part where it's red. It says up at the beginning by editor's note, that they're taking it out because they're just gonna say, oh, this is in accordance with law. But just about every other policy that we have, I mean, they all are in accordance with law, so they kind of spell out what the requirements are. So I thought, let's leave that last paragraph in there describing what in accordance with law means. Why is it that we would need to strike that out? I think that explanation is good.
Which policy is
This is GBE.
The staff health
B,
and safety.
sorry, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The
that-
bottom line, that second page that lined out.
The last paragraph where they lined out the last paragraph, they said, we don't need to include that last paragraph because we're just gonna say in accordance with law. Well, that's what all of the policies are to explain what the law is. So I think we should leave that in there. It describes what's required.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it does tell you that you must provide a medical exam annually or
Yeah.
And just for context with the background, these policies are draft, we get these policies from a bigger organization that provides them down to us. They routinely update them and then send us the updates, and then we're, if we choose, we're allowed to modify them somewhat.
You are correct.
Carol, because I assume that they're legal and everybody else already reviewed these and signed off on it, said, we believe if you adopt this policy, which we have drafted, provided you should be okay.
Yes.
And if we modify it, they would say, that's at your own peril, we need to modify it, good luck.
They don't care if we modify it.
We can modify it.
No,
You can modify it.
But just, and then you come out from under the slight umbrella of protection they provide.
Most of the time, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Wilson, when we decide to modify something, she runs it past the MSBA lawyers to make sure what we modified was okay.
Well, I tell them, but they don't come back and say that 100% that this is legal or not legal. They're like, because they give us advice on that. And they have come back with some policies and say, hey, you need to think about this. And when they do that, we would bring them back to you. But it is their recommendation on this. It is up to you whether you choose to accept that recommendation. But if you choose to accept something that is not been legally vetted, then it would be on us.
So.
But I mean-
What do you think? What do
Sorry.
you think leaving that text in, what does that accomplish that's not accomplished by removing it?
Well, that's a good question.
Thank you.
And part of what we pay MSBA, our membership fees, includes legal advice. So you said they're not our lawyers, but they are. I wanted to clarify what you said a minute ago. They are our lawyers. They are. I mean, that's part of our membership fees is they give us legal
They're not.
advice. They give us legal advice on policies. So the reason I think we should leave it in is because I mean, that's what our policies are, is to explain what the law says. If we didn't have to, if we could just say, oh, we have everything in our school district according to law, then we wouldn't have to have any policies. But almost all of our other policies actually explain what is required, and let's leave that in there, saying what's required.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree on this. I mean, that if you look at it, it kind of, that sentence tells, okay, if you're employed, I mean, do we no longer have to do that? It says contracted service to drive transportation must annually provide, yada, yada, all that stuff. So I mean, is that a law or is it not?
It-
If it's still the law, I mean, granted, everything, like she said, everything's a law, but for that matter, we don't need any policies. But will they know that?
And you know, up at the top, they said, we took that out because we're gonna replace it by saying in accordance with law. So that's the only reason they took it out, according to their explanation.
I guess, is there anything illegal about that?
And what we can do is we can double check with MSBA and then we'll write this down and we can bring it back to you
Yeah.
in the next.
But
that's a
you
great
read-
idea.
They said it in a different way.
Did they?
See
Yeah,
that?
all right.
They say the district will make medical inquiries, require physical exams, and keep medical information on employees only in accordance with the law.
But that took out the explanation of what all was involved with that.
I mean, for me, it's 6 of one, half dozen of another. So, I mean, it doesn't really make that much
Yeah,
difference.
that's
to me.
just my opinion. I'm just one.
Okay. Is there anything else we can?
Are we gonna have her ask about that?
I can.
Thanks, Lori.
And then at the next, I can bring it back to you at the next meeting.
Ask them why. I mean, ask them what
Why
the
they're striking
significance
it?
is of striking it.
Okay.
What's their purpose of doing that? We could
can
ask
do
that.
Okay, next one. ILA, test integrity and security. I had a question on number 1. It says violating any provision of this policy. And as I read through the rest of the things, I was thinking maybe we should add on to the end of that, or the security and integrity requirement of any assessment manual, because they talked about how the assessment manuals were going to guide and direct what happened with the tests. So we should include that. They took out things about the rules for what to do with the test and just said, follow that test manual. So I think we should include not just violating provision of this policy, but also provisions of that test manual. Am I making sense?
What section is that?
Section ILA. Sorry, test integrity and security. Underneath the sanctions against improper or unethical practices, number 1, violating any provisions of this policy. Well, throughout the policy, they took out all of the rules for what to do with handling the tests. You know, you got to keep them in a secure location and all the different things that you have to do with all the different assessments. And they said, we're just going to say, follow that assessment's manual for how things are supposed to be handled. And so I think if we're going to say you're going to get in trouble for doing something, we say, oh, you're going to get in trouble for violating this policy. We should also say, or the security integrity regulations of any of the manuals that came with the different tests, since we've reduced the policy to saying follow the manuals.
I can check and bring it back to you. This is more of Dr. Carson's area.
Yeah.
And so I would have to 100% read through to make sure it's not written somewhere else.
Is it because, Justin, you probably remember from when you were a teacher, right? When you have the state test or whatever, the ACT or whatever, there's a rule for you have to keep it in a certain location locked up and nobody's allowed to look at it. And then you pass it out these many hours before and only certain people, I mean, they have all these different rules for how you have to handle their tests, you know, and what to do with it afterwards and all that stuff. And so instead of spelling out the rules in the policy like it used to be, since there's more than just one test now, they simplified the policy and said, we're not going to spell out the rules. We're just going to say, follow that particular assessment's rules for each one individually. So I just wanted to add to the end of number 1, or at least talk about adding violating any provision of this policy or of the security and integrity regulations of any of the manuals for the different assessments.
Let me read through it and I'll bring
Yeah.
you back some information or next time.
Okay,
Yeah, that,
okay.
that might make sense.
Just want to be sure that if they are.
Because we don't get test
We need
manuals
to what?
anymore, not for many of our things.
What's that? I didn't hear you, Dustin. I'm sorry. Oh, I wanted to hear what you had to say.
No pencils?
Yeah, that's true. They don't go lock them in a room, but they do have different manuals telling what to do with the different
Hmm.
assessments, whether they're online or what.
All right,
That's their point, is they have different manuals.
we'll check. We'll check.
Okay, next one. JCFL A+ Scholarship Program. I just had a question about under program goals. The first sentence under program goals, they took out, establish the following goals and performance standards, and they changed it to is committed to ensuring that. And then the very first thing is something that we're not in charge of ensuring. The very first thing, our goal is for all students to graduate from high school, but we can't ensure that all students graduate from high school. It seems like we've turned something that was a really pretty high, this is our goal, what we're aiming for. We turned it into something less. I don't know.
You don't like the word ensure? Is that what you're saying?
We're committed to ensuring that they do.
You're gonna ensure all students graduate? Sorry, you didn't graduate, you gotta come back. I mean, we're not in charge of. I don't think that's something under our control.
So what do you think
I liked it saying goals and performance standards. I like that, but
I guess I'm lost in the distinction of what you're trying to draw, so what do you think?
I don't think there needs to be any reason to change that to take out goals and performance standards and replace it with, we're gonna ensure that this thing happens. Cause some of those things we can't ensure that they happen.
Yeah, so how do you think that functionally changes anything that the school district is trying?
Yeah, it doesn't. That's why I like the policy the way it was.
No, but I mean, change, I mean, changing the way that they've proposed here, functionally, how does that change anything that the district is doing?
Well, we're talking about policy and, you know, words matter. When you're writing down what you're gonna do, the words that you choose matter. So even if you might be able to somehow get the same result, the words matter. I'm a math person.
But it feels like we're really wordsmithing here to a level, and sometimes you're right, that is important. But my question is, as we dig into this mud, how does it functionally change anything that we're doing?
Yeah,
Whether-
good question. Why did they change it?
I don't know, but I don't know why they changed it, but I'm just trying to figure out here. And I appreciate the discussion, but it feels like we're getting really deep in mud, and I don't know that it makes a difference at the end of the day. So I'm just asking you, functionally, if we change it or if we don't, how does that change anything that the district's doing?
That's a good question. I'm saying this is what our policy was. Why, you persuade me, why should we change it? They,
Yeah.
I would like to know, maybe they have a great reason for why they're suggesting that change. But
Yeah. I've already
Wait,
heard.
that-
I'm like, let's leave it like it is unless there's a reason to change it.
Yeah, I'd probably ignore their, I mean, I'd probably ignore their change on that too. I mean, it does seem like, well, let's go, we're gonna change all the phraseology for, I mean, it, like you say, yeah, Matt, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter either way, but just,
They
Well-
changed the policy because the eligibility period changed, so they just took it upon themselves to try to.
Yeah.
Since they're looking at it, they're just trying to make it better. That's all. I don't think that there's any difference in that sentence at all. But if nobody likes it, then just leave it. problem. I don't think there was a problem with what it was, how it was written, but I
But
don't
we,
think that
we can
there's a
double
problem
check.
in saying committed to ensuring.
Sure. We can double check.
And I wrote myself a note, but didn't get a chance to do it. I can do it later, or Lori, maybe you already know. It mentioned policy IGCE being updated. Is ours already updated?
Where did it say? Where does it say that?
Up at the top, third paragraph down in their explanation, to avoid confusion, MSBA has included dual credit, dual enrollment in policy IGCE. And so that's why they removed it from this one. I was
Let-
just gonna check and make sure ours was updated. Okay,
Because it could be, how
right.
some of those, so let me double check
Yeah,
that.
okay, thanks.
Uh-huh.
So nothing on the next one, GCBA. I see nothing on the next one, nothing on the next one. The last one that I have a question on is the last one that was given to us. BBBB-1.
Okay.
School board ballot issues. Again, the same thing as what happened on the same thing as what happened on the bus driver one, down at the bottom of page 2. Oh no, that's just where I wrote the note, sorry. But they did it somewhere else. Oh no, it was the bottom of page 2, creating subdistricts. Each section in that policy, waiver of Proposition C rollback, boundary change, whatever the section was in the policy, they described what the law requires for that thing to happen. And I think it's a little bit inconsistent. They did not describe what the law requires in order for it to happen on creating subdistricts. So I think it'd be nice if it matched what's required by showing what's required. Because they did that there are several different sections and they did that on each one, what needs to happen. And if you want me to go just copy and paste it out of the law, I can, or maybe the MSBA people have already looked at it and have some wording, but I think we need to include what those requirements are also.
And so you're saying that in each section, they described what the law was, except in
That bottom one on page 2, creating subdistricts.
creating subdistricts.
Uh-huh. See, but they gave the requirements. It first gives notice of public, it gives the date, and the petition has to be signed by 20 residents. I mean, like it spelled out all of the requirements. Right, that's on changing the district name. That's true. But they spelled out the requirements. But in creating some districts, they just said, okay, just do it as law. But there are like some rules. There has to be petition and there has to be a certain number of days and like their requirements. If you go and look at the statute, though, it lists requirements, just like the changing the district's name, say, oh, the petition has to be signed by 20 resident voters. Like it gives those specifics. There's specifics for creating subdistricts also, but those specifics just got left out.
So you're saying that they have placed the procedures
Good,
basically
good.
in each of the subsections, except for creating the sub-districts. So you
Good.
want to see the procedures that you have to go through.
Good, yeah,
You're saying.
good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
just
Good
be
summary.
be consistent on it.
Let me double check that one.
Thanks.
Madam President, since you make y'all have those, so I think we have more of these policies there.
We've got quite a few coming down the pike.
Could we establish a policy that great questions, good discussion, thank you for all that. But if the answer is gonna be, we gotta go back and ask whoever drafted the policy, what happened, could we get these well in advance of the meeting? Could we establish a policy that the board has questions about these to get them to Dr. Wilson before our meeting so that she can then check on whoever, so that when we do get to the point of discussion, we have answers and we can actually make decisions as a board and move this forward? Feels like that might streamline.
We can absolutely adopt a procedure of doing that.
You just commit to getting them to us, a week before the meeting or whatever is a fair time.
Right.
We then shall commit to reviewing them, and whatever questions we have, we can get to her. So if you need to follow up on them before the meeting, you can do so. So that when we get to this point of discussion, we can actually do something instead of just have a discussion that leads back to you have to go back and ask for a question.
That's a very good point, because then when you brought it back to us, you would know what, you could say, this was a proposed change. And here's why, and here's why we can't do it, or here's why they're saying that we should, and then we could actually move forward.
So
Well,
I would
well, I mean,
actually probably have to give it to you, 2 weeks in
Yeah,
advance.
2 or 3
Yeah,
weeks. in
but
advance.
we can adjust that to make that happen. We can adjust timelines to make that
I
happen.
kind of thought that was why we had decided, we didn't used to have just first read one month and then second read the next month. It used to just be, look at it all that night and decide. So I kind of thought that was the purpose of having a first read now, is we got to all talk about the changes, and somebody could say, Christina, that's a silly idea. No, that doesn't work. Or somebody could say, yeah, and I was kind of thinking this also. And we have a discussion. That's why we're a board. We have a discussion, and then Lori knows which questions she actually needs to ask or which ones she doesn't need to, because we've all kind of hammered it out for ourselves.
I think you probably agree. That can still happen, right? But on some of the specifics, we're like, that's a good question. Let me see why they put that or why they made that change, rather than waste 15, 20 minutes on each one and drag the meeting on. We would know on the first discussion what that reasoning was. We're still going to have discussion, probably on
We're still
a
gonna have
number
the
of them.
first read.
But instead of having a lengthy discussion on 15 of them, because this particular time we're going to have a bunch all in one go, I think it streamlines it a little bit for you to go, hey, I've got something around that deal, maybe not something that Dustin even thought of, fire the question away. Hey, Christina, pop this up. We discuss it in the first one because it's there. Otherwise, she might give us the, hey, here's the why, and it answer it for everybody rather than waste. I mean, truthfully, I know you don't feel that like that's a wasted time.
But it's
I
more
think it's
efficient.
valuable
It-
time. I
it-
think it's
it-
the most valuable
It
time.
really drags that out immensely.
Because in this point, the endpoint to every single one of those.
It's right back to- Yeah.
It makes it more efficient, because
probably good.
we would still be having this conversation right now. We would just be saying, with the information we're already tasking her to do, because then we're going to make a decision on the changes we want. And when it comes to that second read, everybody's going to be comfortable to vote.
That sounds good.
That's exactly.
That sounds good.
So I like that. Let's adopt that.
As long as we still get to discuss things.
Okay,
But we'll just have more information now.
Well, the talk doesn't do us any good, we can't make a decision. So.
Exactly.
I like the discussion, but everything we did was just punch it back to her, which means 30 more days, well, actually 60 more days now, until our
Yep.
meeting. before we
It was
take
already,
action.
it was already gonna be 60 more days. We're not
It
voting
doesn't
on these
matter,
or first read.
but now when
It's
she
next
brings those
time.
back to the second read, we're still going to have to discussion and make decisions. Because
Right.
we'll have new information.
But
and
now,
new-
they can take action, so.
Okay. The next item is I'll entertain a motion to approve the change orders.
I'll make-
Right, we have a motion from Matt and seconded from Dustin to approve the change orders. Is there any discussion?
I do have one question about that, for, I guess it's, Richard now. Do you, yeah, you're the man now.
Probably be-
I don't
yeah.
see Curtis. So I mean, we talked about having the sun, like, we added the sunshade in there at the original one. I don't know if that's in there or not. I see something, but I thought there's a couple of them. And if you don't know, you can get, well,
Will you come tell us so we can all hear?
We had this conversation Tuesday morning in the meeting, first did say that it was put in there.
okay.
So I'll check and figure out where it is and let you all know.
I mean, my point is in each of these projects, it's not that, it's whatever they wanted is in there.
Yeah.
That's what I want to make sure is happening.
Good.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Passes unanimously. All right, next I'll entertain a motion to approve 2025-2026 meal prices as presented.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Christina, seconded by Rayanne on the approval of the 2025 meal prices. Is there any discussion?
Can you talk about what the increase is here and how it affects people? And is this requirement, I assume?
That lawyer that I'm suing, I did not do this with her. So she probably put the total in the lunch calculator and it figured that we were either within range or out of range. It's normally how we figure those.
That's
So
why
I
it's
don't know
been,
the last.
that's why it's been the last two. When it was presented,
Curtis.
we were told we had to.
Curtis brought
Yeah.
this. This is, I think,
Right.
based off of the stuff that Curtis brought us, based off that big
About the
calculation.
paid lunch equity, it says that it has a little paragraph there. I don't know if everybody gets to see that or not, but. Oh, it's right over there. Yeah, good job.
Oh, yes, there it is. There's our answer. Thank you.
Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
go. Okay. Any further discussion on this?
And nobody likes to see prices going up, but our costs are going up, right? You can't buy things at the grocery store for the same price anymore, so.
All in favor? Passes unanimously. All right, next I'll entertain a motion to approve the employee handbook.
So
All right, I have a motion by Dustin and second by Rayanne to approve the employee handbook. Is there any discussion?
I did ask this question in advance about the transportation and field trip procedures. I just wondered what happened to that section. It got moved out of where it was. Is it
Correct.
somewhere else?
We felt that that would have been more appropriate since we're talking about this is for all employees. You're talking not just certified staff that take people that could potentially, or activities, coaches that take kids on trips. This is custodians, everybody. Felt that that would be more appropriate in a transportation handbook or an activity handbook instead
Oh.
of the all employee handbook.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Yep.
That was all I wondered on that one.
All right. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Okay. Next item, I will entertain a motion to approve the student handbooks.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Dustin, seconded by Christina to approve the student handbooks for 2025-2026 school year. Is there any discussion?
I have a couple of things. In the junior high handbook, on page 6, I hope, and I did ask these in advance also. I hope somebody will tell us a little bit about the behavior code. I think that's a great idea, but I'd like to hear some explanation about the thinking behind it and how it was put together and all this stuff.
So I'm trying to find my text message from Gerald right now because I did ask what the acronym was. It's called ROAR. And what it is, it's respect, ownership, accountability, and resilience. And so whenever you are assessing a student and they have a grade, the grade should just reflect their knowledge on whatever they're doing. Okay. It should not really be participation points. It shouldn't be, have you turned your homework in on time? But we know that we have to teach those soft skills. So how do we assess where the students are on those soft skills? And so they've come up with a ROAR score. And they'll have a rubric, just like they will with a regular grade, and they will assign it, I think, in class, whatever their classes are. But it's a behavior score or as almost like a soft skills score. I equate it to, because we've had conversations around when I was at College of the Ozarks, I had an academic score and I had a work score. And all of it went on my transcript. Not that I'm saying this is going on their transcript, but it does give value and credence to, are they participating? Are they turning their work in on time? Are they being disrespectful or respectful? So that's what they're going to try this year.
That's great. Again, I like this a lot, but I have another question that came
Okay.
up while you were explaining that.
Okay.
Does that mean that your grade, your academic grade no longer reflects, 10 points off for a day late and 20 points off for 2 days late, or after 10 days, you don't get any credit? I mean, does academic grades still allowed to include that?
I would have to check. I
Okay.
don't know what exactly their academic grades. I mean, I wouldn't think that, I mean, whatever
If they
their,
wanted it to.
right. I don't know what theirs what they include, what an English teacher includes or what a math
Right,
includes.
right.
But it should be what they're getting on their assessments and what's on their homework.
But most of us, I bet, probably went to school in the day when if your paper was late, you got some deduction for it
I
being
don't think,
late.
I don't think we do that.
We don't do that?
We don't reduce grades for turning. So if
Help me
you
out,
assign
guys.
something, it's not going to be part of the grade.
Yeah, I have a junior high teacher sitting in here now
Yeah.
and it's not a part of the grade. That's why this ROAR score is being developed. So that we can assess what those soft skills are.
I would probably disagree and say that it's not a soft skill, right? So, because if I'm employing Matt and I give him something to do January 1 and it's due January 5 or 5th, and he gives it to me in, May, he's fired. Right?
Right,
that's
So
right.
we're not, our job's to educate them, but also to prepare them for life, and that's not,
Right.
so I struggle with this piece,
Right.
immensely to say that
We give
it's-
them more extended time. We don't deduct the points necessarily from them. Now, I know I can't speak for every department on how they, or have every ELA or math, how they grade. I know that in certain instances, at a certain point, if you don't turn it in, this is your grade, or it's a 0, or it's a 40%, whatever it is. And then there are some departments that would possibly say that we're going to give you 2 times, and this is going to be what your reduction of the grade. But to say, I think that if you don't turn something in, it's automatically 10 points off.
But does
Right.
does the policy read in a way that says hey, if I'm the teacher and I want to say this is due this date, right? And if you're late, here's the clear cut line. Does the policy now say I can't do that as a teacher?
I don't know. No. Okay.
I hadn't,
Yes, just a junior high. This is a a pilot program for this, right?
I didn't know this was part of this soft score thing. I didn't know the deadline thing was, and that has been a problem for the last several years. Kids, as a former local community college teacher, kids not just from Ozark, but from all over come to class and don't realize that when the test is on a certain day, they can't just stop by your office later and tell you they're going to make it up because they missed it. No, they got a 0. I mean, that's college policy. They don't seem to understand about deadlines. And I thought Ozark kind of went through a phase of not really having deadlines, and you can turn it in late as many times as you want. And then the last week of the semester, everybody's cramming in their stuff. I thought that kind of got straightened out. So it wasn't like that. And I know the teachers are the scientists who know what the kids need in their classroom, but there are some things that employers and colleges even need the kids to have learned before they get to there. And those are deadlines.
I think it's holding them accountable, more accountable for deadlines. This is. I think this is holding them more accountable because now we're making an emphasis on what are you turning in? How are
it's
you
not-
acting in class?
But it's not part of your grade.
So when you say, sorry.
But it's not part of the grade.
But that's the accountability part, is it's a part of your grade. If it's not, like, let's say it's not part of my grade,
Mhm.
then what am I really losing if it's not part of my grade?
Mhm. Ag-
That is impactful.
I would hope that this becomes impactful to them, and that's why we're going to try it this year. I'm 100%
Yeah.
understand what you're saying, and I'm not going to argue.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally get what you're saying. But it's something that we have to work on. I understand.
When they get to the high school, it's a different standard. It's the same accountability that they have in junior high. When they get to high school, the assignments do have deadlines and.
They don't have
recommendations.
deadlines there so much either, no.
No, not as much. No, not as much, no. I think this is something that we can discuss. I mean, that we can work on, and I would have to have Dr. Carson and Dr. Chambers and the principals and the teachers and everyone involved in that. Mhm.
Well, January 2nd is my birthday. Yeah, they have to have.
Well, to Matt's, look, if I'm the teacher and I give Matt something, and Matt works his butt off to get it, stays
Mhm.
away, he's got band practice, he's got soccer, he's got all these things, and he sacrifices to get it done
That's
on
right.
time.
That's right.
And doesn't,
That's right.
procrastinating, waits 2 months to do it.
That's right.
I get it done, right, you better get it done on his leave.
And you get the
should
same
get the
amount of
same
credits.
He put the time, right, it's not.
I can tell you that when I met with the high school and the junior high teachers this spring, and we talked about, can you hold students accountable? I said, yes. I said, yes, we can hold them accountable for when you turn your work in. Yes, you can hold them accountable for whatever you need to, and we will support you. What that looks like at this point, I don't know, because that was me telling them in April. Okay, and so that is going to be a mind shift or a shift in thought for a while as we work through it. But I did tell all of them, you can hold our students accountable.
Hmm.
That's
right. That's right.
Turning one up.
Yes.
Doesn't that strip them a little bit of the power they have in class? Maybe not. It's been a minute since I've been.
But there's definitely the educational theory thought that a grade should only reflect. It should not reflect if you turn something in late, because that's not from an academic, I mean, I'm being very honest with you.
What thought is that?
I mean, I'm
COVID.
very serious.
It's a COVID.
It should, no.
It's
So
constructive.
we can have this discussion if you don't mind.
We can do it right
Maybe
now.
at a work session.
But they had more time to learn it too. I mean, that's not fair. I mean, there's a lot of arguments against that, but
Yeah, that's
I,
right.
I'm 100% understand what you're saying.
We got
Yeah.
the handbooks right here. We can do it right now.
No.
Ah.
okay, did you have
Well,
another
I
comment?
got one thing as well. I know that the dress code and the cell phone thing was a
Yay.
significant addition in the high school, and we talked about this before. And in the high school and the junior high, the middle school is not, there's basically no change to that.
Mm-mm.
My thought is middle school they're basically like junior high kids. They all do the same thing, so I mean,
That's what
I would like to see that same stuff added in there, especially the cell phone stuff. It's not that much, but I mean, the dress code, because if you want to tamper the behavior by the time they get, I mean, they're in that preteen era, whatever. So they're going to be like, oh, I can do whatever I want and look like I'm going to the club. And then come junior high, oh, I can't do this. I've been doing this for the last 2 years. So
And
I-
if it's
I would say-
valuable for junior high kids, it's valuable for middle school
Yeah.
kids.
I would
too.
say that if you would approve these now and then let Dr. Sappington go back to the middle school, because honestly, I don't want to put something in a handbook that our teachers have never discussed before,
No
or
way.
they've not had a chance to make it their own. And so,
yeah, but they didn't have a chance to make the cell phone thing their own.
well, that was by state law.
Well, this is our law. I mean, I would not be in
Can-
favor of pushing the middle school like it is. If we want the junior high to change like that, then what's the difference between that and a middle school? I mean, when I grew up, it was junior high anyway.
Are the teachers gonna have did they have input originally into the dress code? Oh, they did. Oh, I didn't know.
Okay.
Is there a way to delay approving that particular handbook?
We can always, you can approve it, and in August or September, we can bring it back to you for a modification.
You can do that in the school year? I've
Yes, we
tried-
can.
Okay, then
Yeah,
another.
Or are you gonna have the whole thing printed and put it out there?
Yeah.
But we could
Yeah,
do a
so- and
modification.
People sign it
You
and all
want
that.
the same thing that is in the junior high and the high school for clothes to go down to the middle school.
I mean, at least junior high.
Yes.
The cell phone thing, there's only a couple words added. I think that's about the same.
No, in the junior high, they gave them a free chance. So every teacher,
Yes.
every
because
day,
look
they get a
where-
free chance. I don't think that should be taken
Oh, I
out.
do.
I think they should
From
have.
somebody who has a junior high students, they absolutely need more grace than my high school.
They are not
students.
fully developed. They have to have a little bit more grace than
But
what you do
I
at the
think
high
if you
school.
tell them at the beginning, these are the rules everybody else lives by, don't
So this-
turn it on in the school building, then they can
Okay,
figure
I
that
agree to
out.
disagree.
Yeah, I'm talking about the dress code part.
Now, the dress code is probably something that should grow with them. But that's something brand new and we probably didn't even address it with the younger ones.
I mean, most of it seems obvious to me, but then again, it's not obvious to some people.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
If-
We know. So, but
Mm.
everybody listening. to the meeting will
Good.
understand. So, if you might just quickly touch on what came out of Jeff City that helped encourage and allow this policy change on cell phones.
Good question.
It was, and I don't have the rules because there is a little bit of interpretation, but that cell phones are not allowed or should be powered down, not cell phones, but electronic devices should be powered down and not used during instructional time. It is a law. Mhm.
School districts that you now have to.
And if I,
Doesn't have a policy, but there's a law that says you can't do it.
Yeah.
so you probably
Right.
shouldn't.
good point.
right,
The one that we made on our own was the dress code.
yes, we used to have a dress code.
And should.
Yes,
And
and we should. I mean, people need to be appropriate
Mhm.
And I
when in
think
public,
the
period.
law says communication devices, right? Something verbiage.
It's pretty broad,
Yeah, so your tablet, your,
right?
yes, smartwatch,
Yes.
yeah. Um,
And I'm in favor of that. I think it's great that they're gonna go back to talking to each other at lunch. I mean, there's all kinds of good things. It's so distracting to have it's so distracting to have your phone going off in the middle of trying to learn something that you need a long attention span and you have all these distractions coming up. I'm glad that you put that in the handbooks. I'm glad that that's being enforced.
So where do we stand currently? That's a whole lot of things that just hit the table.
I still think that we approve it and move forward. There's nothing that I mean, I know you want to include something else, but there's nothing that we need to change that's being presented, correct?
Except for on the junior high one. And maybe I'm the only one who thinks that.
For what?
On the cell phone, they gave them that
Oh.
one exception.
Their brain
I mean,
is not as
it-
developed as the older students. I think you absolutely, and that has
So-
been decided and discussed with teachers.
The junior high, when we went to the tour,
I
it's
thought you
actually.
said no teachers talked about the cell phone policy.
At the junior high now, and even previously, it's pretty significant. It's already no cell phones, so it's not that much change, I think, as I understand it. I mean, when I did the tour, so they're already really not allowed to do it.
Right.
At the high school, it's kind of it was kind of a free for all. So
Things on the floor as to approving all of these. As our new expert on the Robert's Rules of Order. With all of the discussion and proposed things, how are we supposed to handle that at this point?
Thank you for bringing that up. We would need an amendment to that motion to change that. However, and who would like to do that? Was somebody are you officially wanting to make a motion to remove junior high students from having a warning?
I move that we amend the motion to say that the junior high school handbook on page 8 leaves that number 1 in there where they're not allowed to have any free warnings.
Is there a second to that? There's no second to that, so that amendment dies.
Okay.
I moved to make an amendment to the middle school to add some of this dress code items. I'm not sure, maybe copy the dress code items or similar as the junior high.
I
We
second
could-
that.
Okay, now
Discussion on amendment.
discussion on the amendment.
So functionally or practically, we cannot draft a policy on the fly in the middle of the meeting, I would assume. So would it be more prudent, well, 2 things. Could we amend the policy in August or something? Do we have to do it right now?
You can amend it.
So could we give instruction for somebody to go back and draft a dress code policy that is somewhat in line with what we've talked about, without actually trying to force it through an amendment like this?
The amendment was copy paste it. I believe he said.
From an HR standpoint, that's giving me a very bad feeling because you are going to have students and teachers who are going to sign that and it's not going to be included. And then later, if they violate it, they're going to say, well, I didn't agree to that from the beginning. So that's why that's my HR brain.
Yeah, so if you change it, what you're saying is if you change it, like, whoa, you said we didn't have that rule before. I didn't have to wear shoes before.
So we should just.
Now we have to wear shoes, no.
So the motion is, so the motion that you have and was seconded is on the middle school handbook, you are wanting to add the same verbiage about dress code in it.
That's the high school.
That's what it is.
Good.
I mean, I'm open to hearing some discussion from Dr. Link or someone in the audience that
Thank
knows
you.
about this stuff.
Thing.
Yeah.
I just don't think that the mechanic is gonna.
Yeah, I just agree with Amber that I don't want the kids to get this and then say, oh, now we have a change, because then they're gonna,
I understand
No.
what you're saying.
So you don't change it.
I would be happy to amend the middle school handbook to say the same thing as the junior high handbook.
Well, look,
And then
thank you so
I will
much.
talk to the teachers and the principals and make it work.
Okay.
are there any issues? I mean,
No.
Okay.
No, we have always worked very hard since seventh grade went back to junior high to keep the middle school as more of an elementary school, instead of making it like a secondary school. And so we have kind of kept middle school handbook looking like elementary handbook. But I completely understand what you're saying about dress code, and it needs to improve for someone who's been here for 20 years. I think it's a great thing. Anyway, I think I can make it work with teachers. I think they'll buy it. I think we'll be good. Principals will be fine too. No
Well, do
problem.
you think even if we made it too strict on accident and the teachers had some good thing to think about, we could loosen it up and that would not have. the same
Correct.
effect
You can
with
always make
saying,
it
no, I
lighter.
didn't know. Yeah.
Yes, you can
So-
always make it easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the amendment is to add what is in the junior high to the middle school.
Yeah.
And you,
I will verbatim
okay,
cut and paste.
okay, we'll vote on it. Is there any further discussion? We're going to first vote on that. All in favor of amending the middle school handbook to have the dress code that the junior high does? Good job. Okay, that passes. The first, we still need to vote on. All those in favor of passing the rest of the student handbooks?
Just have a question. We talked about that behavior thing. Are we gonna include that and approve that? Because that lets the behavior code is the thing that lets the late score not count as part of your academic grade, but puts it in a different grade that
I
isn't
don't,
grade.
I don't know what the exact rules are on that. I can tell you that this was something that the teachers fully supported. Now, how it comes with what the grade practices are, that I don't know, but I do know that this was something that the teachers worked on and supported.
I liked that behavior code idea. I thought it was great, but I didn't know it was gonna take away from them.
I
being able
don't
to
know that
include-
it will.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know that.
So if it includes being able to include that in their academic grade, then I'm
I,
support
I
that.
don't know that.
Okay.
yeah. I
Dr.
don't think-
Sappington, do you know anything about that? Not to put you on the spot at all. Do you know anything about
well,
whether teachers can deduct for late work or set a hard deadline that is included in their academic grade if we include this new ROAR score? And again, I'm sorry for putting you on the spot.
I will be honest with you. I believe that that is left up to,
Up to the teacher.
yes.
That's what I wanted to know.
I would say if you talked with a group of teachers, they would probably say they would prefer something that was more in stone about what it should look like. I think for a while, we've been pretty willy-nilly with it. I think people probably would appreciate some direction there. I would hope that you all would allow Dr. Carson to lead that. And
Good
instead of
answer.
making a determination
Good answer.
yourselves, I would hope that you would allow him to do that. I think the direction for him would be create some kind of a procedure for what late
Good.
work looks like.
So we could still approve this thing.
Correct.
And just say, with the caveat that Dr. Carson's gonna work to create some kind of policy where deadlines are enforced. Okay.
Then I think still really need to vote forward. I think that we want some concrete lines and there's some accountability. But functionally, I don't know how we accomplish that tonight. And
We
I think
don't.
that these, I don't know, but I think these handbooks, if we don't approve them, that creates a big issue during the next 60-day block we have all for our meeting. And I agree with you that we all want some guidelines and some, give the teachers some authority there. I don't know that we accomplished it tonight, so I do think the proposal of.
That was a great
taking that
idea.
and something and bringing it to us, it might be the best that we can get you tonight. This is not a problem that's gonna get solved in a day.
And it's, we still should approve what's there. That's
And
taking
approving this isn't gonna rule that out. That was all I was concerned about. Yeah. Good.
Well, I think you're gonna approve it, but you're just gonna give some more strict, you're just gonna give some more guidelines to it.
Because it's a lot.
We can't make those decisions now.
There's a lot of.
Exactly.
We're talking about one sector of a bigger book, but.
Maybe we should look at those handbooks earlier in the year, in the future.
I don't think you remove it, though. I don't think you remove.
It is
because-
a procedure that we need to go back to and have conversations with the teachers. Just like when I said in April, you can hold them accountable. Now we have to go and we say, give us, how are we going
Yes.
to do that?
Oh,
Okay, we
Yes.
can't make that decision here. We have to go back and talk to the teachers and say, these are the parameters. How are we going to make this happen? Knowing what the will of the board is.
right.
No.
Support stuff from the direction of, this is what we want you to
Right,
accomplish. You go figure out.
Right.
Exactly.
Because they know best.
Dr. Sappington?
how to
Some
do that.
folks would have already registered their kids and will have already signed. So just know, we'll have to go back and ask some folks to read that.
Oh, that's already
portion.
open?
Yes, for, I think is it new, brand new
Oh,
folks?
and they don't know yet, so we gotta go back and tell them.
Correct.
I honestly didn't know that. I
So
didn't think it was
just know
open
we'll
yet.
have to go back and ask a few folks to do just that portion.
Because of the dress
registration.
code.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to do that, but hopefully it's not a lot. Okay,
Yeah, me too.
okay.
Maybe after,
Um,
can we approve these?
All right,
earlier?
I'm gonna go ahead and
I would-
are we good to vote now? All in favor of the student handbooks? Okay, so that is all opposed. Okay. All
Oh,
right.
I wish I could have heard why.
Oh, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
It was motion by James, second by Matt, all in favor. We are adjourned.
I get it, understand. I just think that I think there's some kids that I just love it. So if you're into.
Good, how are you? Man, I'm sad.
Yes.